Just before this video starts, I'd like to point out that you might hear my voice go like this a few times and all that. I don't know why. My voice is deciding to crack quite a bit lately. It is annoying. Also, if I stumble over my words or something like that, I apologize. Um, it's just sometimes talking a lot, I jumble over my words, so I apologize. Anyways, let's go. What is up, everybody? I'm the Outcast, and today I want to talk about Resident Evil 8. No, I will not be talking about the gameplay or something that we may be playing in the game. Not about fan favorites, Lady. What's her name again? Dimitrescu? Demi. Whatever, we'll just call her Lady D. I want to talk about a few other things, and mainly how secrets in Resident Evil 7 could have set everything up for Resident Evil Village without us even realizing. Now, what am I talking about? Well, mainly Mia. And I want to cover the scene who freaked so many fans out, and I believe it was the second trailer, which shows Chris killing Mia. Now, to most people, right off the bat, there it is. Chris is now evil and insane. But I looked slightly further into this, and yeah, it could be true. Chris is probably evil now, but there are other answers that I seem to have figured out. Actually, to be honest, there's quite a few, but I'll only be covering some of these in this video. I apologize if this video is slightly lengthy. I feel like I may be onto something for Resident Evil 8, and I'd like to put my opinions out there. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the trailer for Resident Evil Village, the 8th main video game in the Resident Evil franchise, was released a few months ago. Can't remember if it was 4 or 7. Now, the first thing that people noticed was that there were a few new enemies, such as werewolves, different infected, and of course, a vampire. But the community seemed to have noticed a few other details and resemblances, myself included, such as the layout of the village. Now, the village shown in the trailers resembles the one from fan favorites Resident Evil 4 a lot, which was released back in 2005. With the Resident Evil 4 remake pushed back for a little bit, and I think it was cut for a bit, it was obvious that they may have just inspired and taken design from part 4 and just brought it to this game, which seems to be the grand finale for this franchise. I don't know what that means. I'm just reading what's on the website. Other characters shown in the trailer seem to have spiked fans' curiosity levels, such as a potential new Claire model, Lady D, the Duke, and what not many people have pointed out, a potential new female merchant. Now, a lot of people seem to think that the Duke is the merchant, both the merchant from Resident Evil 4 or just a new merchant. However, I'd like to point out that, let's be real, the new female witchy kind of person that we saw in the trailer resembles the merchant a lot, just a female version. If this is true, this would be able to link both Resident Evil 8 and 4 a lot more than it already has. Something I'd like to point out, though, about the village resemblances is that quite a few people thought that this was the same village that we both fought in and visited back in Resident Evil 4. Now, I thought this too because there were a lot of resemblances here and there. I mean, quite a lot of it seemed the same, and there was a castle in the village, exactly like Resident Evil 4. But after doing some research, I figured out that Resident Evil 8 takes place in Romania. This automatically cancels out the idea of being in the same location as Resident Evil 4, being that Resident Evil 4 was back in Spain. So I know you probably need a backstory to understand some of the things I'm going to be pointing out, right? Well, recapping over Resident Evil 7 and talking about this would make this video way longer than it already has to be. So I just suggest reading up on or playing or just watching a playthrough of Resident Evil 7 before diving into, the points I have in this video. I'll be talking about and referencing things from part 7, like if you already knew it, like if we were just having a conversation and both of us had played Resident Evil 7 before. So if you don't know much about Biohazard or haven't played it yet, spoilers ahead. So just like everyone else, the first thing that immediately caught my attention was seeing Chris kill Mia in Ethan and Mia's new home, or at least that's where I think it is. Now, to me, this was extremely strange because seeing a great character get so violent and brutal for no reason is just, well, weird and strange. And while everyone else just seemed to automatically start hating him, calling him evil, infected, and all that, I just expected that Capcom may be trying to get us to hate Chris on purpose. Now, this would allow them to give us a perfect sneak attack and a surprise plot twist in the actual game, but I tried seeing around it like I have in many other games. Here's the thing. Jumping back to Resident Evil 7, if you don't know, the game starts off with Mia sending a video to Ethan, telling him that she's still on this quote-unquote babysitting job and will be coming back home soon. After the video ends, the screen zooms out and she records a new video warning him to stay away. Now, obviously that video is a lot more, I guess, dark, we could say, and you can definitely tell that something went wrong. Here's when I started noticing a few things that Capcom may be trying to fool us with while rewatching some stuff about Resident Evil 7. In the intro of Part 7, both videos, she's clearly on a ship. Now this makes absolutely no sense, right? I mean, she's babysitting, but she's on a ship. What ship has a babysitting job on it? Well, actually, it makes perfect sense. She's not babysitting. During the playthrough of Part 7, we come across a huge crashed ship in the middle of the swamp. Well, in those videos, especially the second one, she says that she shouldn't have lied to Ethan. Lied about what, you say? Well, reading on the Capcom website and for Resident Evil 8 and playing the Not a Hero DLC, it comes clear that Mia may not be as innocent as we think she is. It's made almost perfectly clear that she's working for Umbrella, maybe even TerraSave, or whoever was responsible for the Baker family incident, which the ship falls under the same category. So, since she was on that very ship, this could create a few possible outcomes. The first thing to note is that we find out that the first point of contact for the infection was on that very ship. Evelyn raided and murdered every single soldier on that boat. Playing through Mia's part, we realize that Evie seems to be calling her mommy quite a bit. Now, this is interesting. Why? Well, let me explain a little bit more about Evie, then we'll come back to this. I need to set a few things up before coming back to this point so you can just understand what I'm trying to say. Notice how in the beginning, it seems as though the Bakers are all infected on the same level. They're all insane. However, as the game progresses, apart from Jack, which is just purposely coming back to try and kill you, there's one character that shows up more and more. The grandmother. But Kurt, how does the grandmother showing up in her, I don't know, wheelchair, rocking chair type thing have anything to do with Resident Evil 8? I'm getting there. Just hear me out. It'll take a while, but we will get there, I promise. So after we quote-unquote kill Evelyn, Ethan faces the grandmother once again, but this time she becomes the main boss. Strange, isn't it? How she showed up a lot in the game and could have snuck up on Ethan at any point throughout the whole game. Pardon me, I dropped something. But she only turns into that boss after we give Evelyn the, what is it? The shot, I guess? Sorry, I'm distracted. My screen just, kind of blurred out. Well, what does this exactly mean? Well, she only turns into the monster after Evelyn's child body dies. Meaning that I guess this would kind of set up a perfect host type thing, right? I mean, if she was the next host, if anything happened to the little girl's body, the next body would be the grandmother. So Evie, the child body, may be dead, but the virus and all that still continues. Which, that leads me to my very first outcome. Mia is the next host with the virus. She's still infected. So, since Mia was with Evelyn for quite some time throughout her part, and they were both on the ship, and that, well, she was the only one who survived the ship incident, she just could be the next host and the person that Mia, or that Evelyn saved on purpose. This could explain why she sees Evie so much during her part of the game, and is called Mommy. We know that Evie wanted to start her own family, so calling Mia Mommy is a perfect sign that she is infected, and maybe in fact, the next host. This is visibly easy to notice that she's infected when she's attacking Ethan in the Baker Mansion, which happened a few times. But notice how during the fight, Mia says, I can hear her, I can feel her way clawing I can feel her clawing her way back inside me. Get out. Leave me alone. I've been bad. I deserve this. And then she knocks herself out. Now, I'm not too sure what that last part fits into all this, the whole I've been bad, but the rest is a pretty damn clear giveaway that Evie is inside her head and kind of turning her. So, alright, Evie's child body is now technically dead, and so is the grandmother's. So, who's next? Well, Mia, of course. Now, during the Not a Hero DLC, Chris finds out quite a lot, even that Mia is a potential secret worker. So this could be a pretty good reason for him to go after her, but not to kill her immediately. He could have pieced everything together and understood the danger Ethan's in. Ending this virus strand would be the best outcome, obviously. However, we can be certain that this is why this is happening. This was just the first outcome I had for Chris killing Mia. There's another part that Chris does after killing Mia, but like it was revealed on the website, but I'll get into that later or just in another video. My second point, well, it's just not actually Mia. It's that it may not be the original Mia Winters. Notice how I mentioned that in the beginning she made those two videos. Well, when Ethan goes to the mansion, finds her in the basement, and then talks about it, she remembers literally nothing. She first tells him to leave, then denies that she sent any video, and then when he tries to convince her, she isn't sure anymore. Now, if this was Mia, I'm pretty sure she would have remembered at least one of these videos. Might just be me though, I don't know. Now this could mean a few things. One, Evie is blocking these memories out on purpose to lure Ethan in, or this just isn't Mia. For all we know, the real Mia could have actually died on the ship and was cloned or brought back by Evie in Evie's own way, which this would be, well, very possible with the whole regenerators, you know. How would Chris figure this out? I unfortunately have no leads. But then again, he has figured out a lot of complicated things before, so maybe he could just have a big brain. Then again... then again, we see that Chris is now working for Umbrella in Part 7. So now that I think about it, he could have easily gotten information on the deceased people from the ship incident. Okay, so maybe he does know that it's not Mia. Anyways, this could also mean that the grandmother from the Baker family is also a clone/regeneration type. It's pretty visible since when Ethan wakes up in a weird dreamlike state, Jack Baker points out that they never want to hurt anyone, but that Evelyn got in their head and turned them, switching them. So seeming that Jack is both in the dreamlike state, but is also in the real world, this could be a clear sign that it's clearly not him. Then again, I think at that point, Jack may have already been killed. Like, he may already be dead. So, I don't know. But we do see Zoe in the back. And Zoe is still alive. But Zoe isn't... Like, Zoe is not a, like a villain. So, who knows? But her still being in the dreamlike state and still in the real world could be a pretty good sign. Another thing to mention is that she may have been the real Mia, all the way up until the ship, the wrecked ship. See, on the boat, Mia at one point pushes Ethan out of a room, basically sacrificing herself. Well, this is weird because we later save Mia, correct? She's in the helicopter at the end and she's confused about if she made it or not. Well, what if that just isn't Mia? Like, what if we didn't save the real Mia? Maybe she did actually die in that room, but the regeneration, like, abilities of the C virus, aka Evelyn, just brought her back in, like, a body state. Just like the grandmother, maybe. My next point, Mia was already infected. She's always been on Evie's side, just secret. Now, I spotted this picture while I was on Twitter reading up on Resident Evil 7. A link popped up, and obviously I got curious. This picture shows both Mia and Evelyn together with what seems to be that exact ship in the background. Like I just said, that's most likely the ship where everything happened. I mean, it makes perfect sense, let's be real. So they could have already planned it. Could they have already been infected? Did they maybe both get infected during the ship incident? If so, where'd the virus come from? And who took the picture? There are so many questions I have for this one specific picture, but I can't really say anything else about it right now because I have no true info on it. I'll update you when I get more information on that, maybe in another video. Something else I'd like to point out about this picture is that yes, I found it on Twitter, but correct me if I'm wrong, I do recall seeing that picture in the actual gameplay of Resident Evil 7. I just can't remember when. But correct me if I'm wrong. Now we're flipping the tables. Now we are leaving Mia and we're going more to Chris. So since Chris is working for a, high power and controlling organization, being Umbrella, he could have been sent to kill Mia, like on purpose. Now, why would this happen? I have no idea. But Umbrella has planned and pulled stuff like this off many times before, so I think we can all agree that it wouldn't be the biggest shock. This would maybe have something to do with the fact that she witnessed so many different events in the 7th game. So it could be a situation like, oh, you know too much, you have to die now. That's pretty much the only thing I can say about the subject because, well, we didn't really find out much about him working for Umbrella in Part 7. My next one, Chris is just evil now. This one is obvious, isn't it? Maybe Chris is in fact evil, or maybe infected. Maybe he works for Lady D. Maybe he's actually a werewolf like some people think, which to be completely fair could be a very high possibility because on the cover and like game art, we do see that Chris is kind of fading into a werewolf. Now, this could just be a dead giveaway, or it could be another attempt for Capcom to confuse us and sneak up on us during the game, but once again, we can't exactly be certain. So maybe Chris is truly evil and is sent to kill Mia because the couple, let's be real, would never really suspect this from a, friend. I mean, they already know him, so they never see that coming. Also, someone pointed out that there's a shadow in the corner of the other room as Chris is killing Mia. Now, this could mean a few things. One, this is the hooded people we saw in the castle next to Lady D during the trailer. This could mean that Chris is being observed by them, and they're just making sure that he's actually finishing the job. The other option is that he isn't infected, but maybe something will happen. Maybe he will be infected. I mean, I'll be honest, Chris would be a good target to infect, I admit. Another option is that they maybe are with Mia, hence why they didn't come out. I mean, they could just be hiding. Let's be real, I would. It's Chris. Don't mess with him. The final option is that it's just a shadow, like a plant or something. I don't know. I would like to point out the fact that during the trailer, we do see quite a few, maybe not ninjas, but undercover people storming the house that Mia and Ethan are in. Could this be one of those people? I don't think so, because they left when Chris shows up and kills Mia. So if someone stayed, that would clearly mean because they're not part of the same group. Now, does that mean that the people that Chris was with in general was the witches? No, I don't think so. This could be secret umbrella workers or anything along those lines, or it could just be people that we haven't heard of yet. Chris is evil, but Mia is also infected. This is something I saw literally no one point out. I didn't see anyone mention the fact that yes, Chris may be evil and infected, but that so is Mia. I mean, this would be the perfect plot for one virus killing off another to be victorious or to prove that it is superior. I mean, just think about it. If they know that Mia is infected with the C virus, or is just a EV/Mia/Regenerator clone, this could cause so many problems for the new strand of the T virus, which is what seems to be the virus for Resident Evil 8. Now, one virus facing off against each other would be such a badass moment. Like Leon versus Chris all over again, except better. Or Chris versus Ethan. That one's not so cool. The T-1000 versus the T-800. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, either way, you get what I mean. Clearly, after the events of Resident Evil 7 and how fast the virus kind of took over everything, we can see that the C virus is no joke. But then again, neither is the T virus. I mean, of course, that is what Resident Evil is based around. So having both viruses living in the same village could cause so many problems for, well, not only the villagers, but the other virus. So this could be a pretty good reason why Chris kills Mia. My next option, well, just none. This could, of course, all be completely 100% fake. This could be a hallucination or a dream that Ethan's having. There is nothing in this actual, like that one scene, that proves that this is a real and a real moment that happens. The only way we'll ever be able to figure it out is, well, if we play the game. And seeming that Ethan has woken up in a dreamlike state before, being that one in Resident Evil 7, this wouldn't exactly be totally unbelievable. So what are my thoughts on Mia's death? Does this mean I actually think she's dead? Not quite. We killed Mia how many times in Resident Evil 8? Or just how many times does she die in general? Doesn't matter. Clearly, she lived and came back every single time. This is mainly due to the regeneration abilities the virus had. This is also why the mold creatures didn't die easily and seem to have come back all the time. It's the regeneration powers. Which means, if I'm right about her still being infected, there's no real reason for thinking she's actually dead. However, if she's not infected anymore, then that could be a very, very, very big problem. Huh. Weird, ain't it? This is the first time I'm actually hoping, and I'm saying I'm hoping, that a person is infected in the whole Resident Evil franchise. I'll be honest, it feels weird, man. My thoughts on Chris and, what he did. Well, if Chris killed her, and it does turn out that she was infected, I am 100% on his side. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Mia's hot and everything. I mean, look at her. But if she is infected, then yeah. Unfortunately, she has to die. Possessing the virus around Ethan and their child is highly dangerous. They could or maybe have already gotten the virus. Now, right now, if you're going, whoa, kid? What kid? I'll explain that in another video, but that's a whole new subject. However, if Chris is infected or evil or a mutant or anything, all I have to say is, uh-oh. I mean, Chris has done so much, he's fought so much, and he's experienced a lot. So he could be an extremely dangerous threat and opponent. I mean, we're talking about a man who legit punched a boulder. He is far too dangerous. So this could be very bad for Ethan. Then again, making Chris the infected or just the villain in general would be the literal perfect opportunity to bring back a character fans think will be making a return. Leon. No offense to Ethan or anything, but there's no way in hell that he stands a chance against Chris, especially if Redfield is infected or a werewolf hybrid. I mean, come on, let's be real. But Leon could actually pull it off. He's been through stuff like this a lot, and he'd be able to pull it off, in my opinion, pretty well too. I mean, just think about it. Leon versus infected Chris for the quote-unquote finale would be the coolest shit ever. It would honestly be incredible if done properly. Then again, it'll only be cool if I can play as, or if we can play as Leon. I don't want another moment like when we had to face Ellie as Abby during The Last of Us Part 2. I don't want to control evil Chris to kill Leon. Hell no. My final thoughts. Well, these were just some of the outcomes I think could be coming in Resident Evil 8. I know some of the info I gave about Resident Evil 7 could be slightly inaccurate or incorrect, but if they are and you noticed it and you have the correction, please let me know nicely. So yeah, I can't say if these will happen or anything because at this point, my guess is as good as everyone else's. Even though I do think I'm onto a few things here and there. Oh well. That's all I have for this video. Do you guys agree? Disagree? Do you guys have different outcomes in mind? Did you pick up on other things in Resident Evil 7 and the Resident Evil 8 trailers? Please let me know down in the comments below, guys. In the next video on this topic, I'll be covering the subject of Rosemary Winters, Mia and Ethan's daughter, and why she could literally completely change everything. I still have a few things to read up on her because there's not that much out there, so I'll read up a bit more before I make that video. But I have another one coming soon on Chris from Resident Evil 7 and how some stars just don't seem to align well about him. So if you'd like to see those, stick around the channel. I also have other Resident Evil gameplay videos coming soon, so look forward to those. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know. And if there's anything you guys want me to play, cover, talk about, feel free to tell me in the comments down below. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.